Oh, greetings, my relatives. This is Anthony Gonzales, otherwise known as Tony to you, with another program, Eagle and Condor. And for this program this afternoon, we have a special guest in the studio, and that will be Miss Courtney Cummings that we'll be talking to in just a few minutes. But we have lots coming up. In particular, the long walk continues, as we said in our last program, having walked from San Francisco. They were on through Ohio, crossing Missouri, and now my relatives, they're in Illinois, and they should be getting into Washington, D.C. on July 15th. So let's stay tuned in with them and their walk. In the meantime, there is a phone number you can call, and that would be Michael Lane that I had right here at area code 218-368-1679 for more information about the long walk and how you can help and provide support to my relatives who are sacrificing their time to get across. But with that, my relatives, all other information that we talk about today, you will be able to retrieve that at the AIM West website at www.aim-west.org for more information. And don't forget AIM West program that we have on radio with KPFA, the first Wednesday of each month. That's Bay Native Circle at 94.1 FM, and also across Indian land the second and third Friday of each month, along with La Onda Bajita. And as I said, my relatives here in the studio, we have Miss Courtney Cummings, who I've known now for several years, and she's not only an activist in Richmond, California, but she's also the former Commissioner on Human Rights there. She's organized the annual powwow that is now held there in November, which we'll talk about later on today. But Courtney, tell us a little bit about your background and the conference meeting on the census that you attended last Saturday.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation to be here. My name is Courtney Cummings. I am Northern Cheyenne, Shanish, and Muskogee Creek. I am tribally enrolled in the 3 affiliate tribes of Fort Berthold, Newtown, North Dakota. In regards to the census 2020 for 2019 to 2020 this year, it's here. It's already here. It started April 1st, and I cannot stress the importance of everyone to be counted. Everyone matters. Everybody matters, whether you're homeless, whether you're living, within shelters, whether you're on parole or probation. Everyone gets counted. And I know that, there is a high quality and quantity of people who do not trust the census. But I'm here to say that...
We're talking about the government now.
The government.
If they don't trust the census, people don't trust the government. Go ahead, Courtney.
Right. You're absolutely right. And, we understand that coming from the Native perspective, the mistrust of the government.
And the environment that we're in right now politically with the the border there with Mexico.
Right,
Please.
Right. And so one of the big issues, or what we could say, a hot topic, is going to be the line item on the census report of, are you a United States citizen or not? And that's going to really deter a lot of people who may be immigrants into our country to not fill out the census. And
correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, but was that citizenship requirement there before and it was taken off, or this is...
Right. So it was there before, and I've just heard recently that as long as 4 hours ago that there is now, some type of hold on that
We're
end.
talking Thursday now, so you heard it
Yes.
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, correct.
Uh-huh.
So we will,
Is that by executive order?
executive order, correct.
Well, let's take a historical backward step on that and remind people when the first U.S. Census count began under the first term of President George Washington in 1790, and I can see why he thought it was so important to have a count of how many people he's to govern, and the number at that time was what pretty near almost 4 million people.
Right.
At that time,
right.
And here we are. Fast forward, the last count was 2010, and that was at 327 million people. So we're talking about political terms now when the population counts determine how many congressional seats,
You're correct.
either Democrat or Republican, and senatorial.
Yes.
So please tell us what went on in the Richmond census meeting that you attended.
Well, I went to the Contra Costa County Richmond meeting that was hosted by our county supervisor, John Joya, and the city of Richmond. And we had an opportunity to listen firsthand from the census workers, who have taken an oath from day one to protect and keep everyone's confidentiality of the census reports until whenever. But they will not share any of the information that they pass out on the census. So they stress that people are going to be getting mailers the size of a postcard coming in their mailer, just to say, okay, heads up, this is what's going to be happening. The census are rolling in. And then there'll be door knockers. So census door knockers people will be going to door and physically knocking on doors, trying to get the count of the homeless population, people who may be living in cars, people who may be living in...
I mean, this is so cumbersome undertaking. I mean, who does this? Who does the count? Is there a department or the Census Bureau itself?
Correct.
I understand the state of California, being the most populous state in the Union of the 50,
right,
has a lot invested in the census.
Yes.
And they put in $100 million.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering how the philanthropy community or those that have additional monies can extend
a helping hand
further, a helping hand to organizations in that census count.
Right. I mean, there's so much at stake because census only happens every 10 years. And there's literally like $650 billion at stake in federal money. So federal money also helps with grants, for places like, IHSS, which is Indian Health Centers, mental health, wellness, trauma, all those funds go there. But if people don't count, if people don't fill out the census reports, especially our indigenous Native American people, then we are an invisible society already. And this just makes us more invisible, that if we don't show up in force that we're still here, that we still exist, and check mark that box, you're American Indian, once it gives you a choice, you're doing it not only for yourself today, but you're doing it for your next generation. You're doing it for the babies that are going to be coming. Because if we're considered still, an invisible society, we need to be counted. We need to be counted, and we need to show, the powers that be in government that we still are here. We still have a voice, and we want to show our U.S. representatives that we need someone to, be an ally for us and for our needs, which is, of course, taking care of Mother Earth, the climate, and, things that matter to us as indigenous Native people.
Mm-hmm. And thinking ahead, currently we have at least 2 congressional representatives.
Correct.
In the legislature, and many more that are planning to run. So we're talking about the electoral process importance as well, and candidates,
Yes.
running in the
Yes.
future in those areas. Is there a website or somewhere for the census, Courtney?
Yes, yes. Each county has its own, specific site. Example, if you're interested, if you live within Contra Costa County, you would go to ccccounty.gov, etc. Alameda County,
San
San
Francisco
Francisco,
County?
right, right. Or if anything else, at least go to uscensusbureau.gov.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very important, not only with the census coming up, but also with the native vote that's going to be coming up soon in 2020. So it's highly important for our people and our young people who may not register because of that mistrust of the government to go ahead and register to vote. Your voice matters. Our people, our ancestors went through a lot so that you could take care of, and put your voice to the democracy of this country, so that we could be counted and we could be fairly represented.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm glad we're making the correlation as well with the voting process and the politics of that all, because in this the second segment of this 1 hour program, Eagle and Condor, we will be screening the video by the director Dorothy Fadiman, and it's called "Reclaiming Their Voice: Native American Vote in Nuevo Mexico." And this is the vote that occurred in 2004, and the film itself was produced in 2009. So we'll be taking a look at that. And Courtney, with the time we have left, we're coming close, but I wanted to ask you about the powwow that you helped organize in Richmond.
Yes.
And I dare say it's probably the only county in the entire nation, the United States, that has included a powwow in their budget. So tell us about that.
Yes.
How many years is it now?
It is now 10 years. Tangashla has been very good to us, humble people, and he has, given that vision to us to allow the powwow to be a budget line item in the city of Richmond's annual festival budget. So that is just,
It's so remarkable. I have to interject because so many powwows have been established and they go down after a few years. Lack of funds, lack of support, volunteerism. The city probably didn't want them, but here Richmond embraced it. Please go on.
Yes, yes. And during that time, it was Mayor Gail McLaughlin who was our mayor and, highly, highly supports our Native Indigenous community. And, Tangashla has also allowed our current mayor, Tom Butt, to continue the record. So we're very, very happy to bring our 10th year honoring the elders. November the 2nd, Saturday, a one-day powwow from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Everyone is welcome. You do not have to be Native American. Please come and enjoy our festival, our current powwow with us.
And what was the theme again for this year's powwow?
Honoring our elders.
Honoring our elders. I want to thank you, Courtney, for that information, the census and the powwow information. And to our viewers, if you haven't gone to a powwow, and certainly if you have not gone to the Stanford powwow, which just completed in May, it's 48th annual. You have to make this moment to engage the American Indian community in powwows and events such as this. So November the 2nd in Richmond, and that is the powwow. My relatives, we're coming to a close. I do want to remind you the video that we're going to see next is Reclaiming Their Voice, Native American Vote in Nuevo Mexico. And it's an example of the power of registering and making your voices heard and becoming visible to the broader community. And with that, I also want to say that it's 2019 and Leonard Peltier is still in prison. He's a known political prisoner by Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Rigoberta Menchú, Nobel Prize winner people. 50 congressional representatives have called for his release. So if you want to know more about Leonard Peltier, go to the website at www.whoisleonardpeltier.info. And as I said, the walkers, the long walkers, going across the country, call them at the number I had given you, area code 218, number 369-1679 for more information or how you can help. And my relatives, Friday is Flag Day, so I want you to ponder that. What does the flag mean to you? What sacrifices, including the sacrifices that people have made for it, including the veterans of this country that have continued to bind the families. But what does it mean to us today, and what does it mean to people like the man in the White House, Agent Orange? So let's think about the football player, Kaepernick, also, who made a statement regarding the flag, and he took a knee. And sometimes out in the marina, with naval forces and people who are in stress, they usually tip the U.S. flag upside down. That we're headed for a storm. So all of that combined when you think about the flag. Okay, that's it, my relatives. We'll see you in 2 weeks, Eagle and Condor, and enjoy the video that we mentioned to you. And again, I want to tell you that you can go to the AIM West website at www.aimwest.org for more information and a full-length video documentary about Leonard Peltier. That's it, my relatives. I want to say that it's been hot these days, so keep it cool in the motor pool. Hope. Oh, my relatives, and don't forget the 22nd annual celebration of Native American art. It takes place in San Francisco's Yerba Buena Gardens, and it's free. Native American Contemporary Arts Festival. That would be on Sunday in San Francisco, Yerba Buena Gardens, June 16th from 12 to 3 p.m. We have a host of guests and programs there. The Canyon Sayers will be singing grandmother songs. She's from out of Indian Canyon. We have Al Frank Manriquez, who's going to do a moving closing prayer song. But in between, Mike Bellinger and Manny Liris and the All Nation Drums, we're going to have their Bobby Young project. That's right, Bobby Young has played several times with AIM West on the Red and Blues musical concert. So that's Sunday at Yerba Buena Gardens. Don't forget, mark that for Father's Day special.